Yes, hello and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. How's it going, friends? I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that it's deadline day. That's right, the final, at time of recording, 13 hours of Chelsea to get some business done, of which we're looking to do. We're going to get into that. There's some real questions to be answered. Chelsea have agreed to recall young promising striker Mark Guiu from the Sunderland loan, and many people will be thinking, cool, so sorted. So that's the striker problem. That will tide us over until Liam Delap's hamstring injury has healed. No, because Jackson's come back as well. Bayern have told him to return to England. The deal is seemingly off. But is a deal off? Is Jackson going elsewhere? What is happening? We're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you as much as I can. Also, Femin Lopez, it's still being spoken about as a deal that can be executed in the dying embers of the transfer window. Spanish reports coming out saying how much it would cost. You've got Hansi Flick speaking about the deal in press conferences. It's very, very interesting indeed. We're going to get into it, guys. Strap yourselves in. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I am very grateful for your support on the channel, for those of you who have always been there, and indeed newcomers. And if you are a newcomer, why not subscribe? Like and subscribe. All that lovely, sweet, sweet stuff. Also, if you want to try and help me out, drop the hype points. That's right, hype the video. It's down there somewhere. You just press it. Hype. Thank you for those hype points. By the way, so it's the crack of dawn. It was 6 a.m. here in the UK. I've been up since 4. I slept 11 till 4, and that was it. I was just awake. Yeah, I was just awake. You know what happens sometimes. And I looked at my phone, on grayscale mode though, and I saw Alexander Isak has finally, or shall I say, Newcastle or Liverpool, all of them have finally put us out of misery, and he's going to Liverpool for 130 million pounds. They've broken their own transfer record that they broke in the Premier League earlier this window. I will be reacting to that on the second channel, but just as Chelsea fans, here, of course, this is Chelsea content, we have to be ready for a Liverpool with Alexander Isak. Ugh, so that's pretty horrible. Anyway, we're here to talk about Chelsea stuff. So I'm going to quickly hop over to The Athletic. Look, this is, firstly, on Mark Guiu, it's been confirmed by a multitude of different journalists, reporters, publications. Basically, Matt Law said it, but indeed on the Athletic as well, that yes, Chelsea have recalled Mark Guiu. The window's still being open. We sent him on loan there, and in the same window we called him back because this is what you can do. Almost certainly, there's been a gesture of compensation to Sunderland from Chelsea for mucking them about. I mean, they've had quite a promising start to the season. I don't think he's really played yet, so they've probably like, oh, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, you know. It's not like somehow the Xhaka transfer being reversed or something. So we've got Mark Guiu back, and it's good. I mean, like, I'll be very interested to learn of what you guys think if that's the solution. Because after the international break, Cole Palmer will return. And Cole Palmer returning means that we can start João Pedro as a striker. We can play Cole Palmer in behind him. And with Cole Palmer in behind him, we can have Sterval on the right. And then you've got Pedro Neto or Gittins, or indeed Garnacho on the left. Is that enough? And then Mark Guiu can be the backup striker off the bench. But if you're asking Mark Guiu to be the Liam Delap in, like, you know, the West Ham and Fulham game, I know he came off in Fulham, do you know what I mean? Like, straight away, that might be like asking you to be a starting Chelsea striker to facilitate the likes of João Pedro behind you to play well. I think it's a huge ask. The Athletic writes this. Let me just quickly pull up here. Chelsea, it says, talking about Mark Guiu. I think this is Simon Johnson as well. Guiu is really highly rated at Chelsea. Indeed, of course, earlier in the summer, we turned down offers to sell him permanently. So they wanted to keep hold of the striker. We've got really high, think of him really, really highly. They wanted to give him regular first-team football elsewhere, though, to help his development. And obviously, seemingly, we have robbed him of that. Actually, a lot of people potentially, I sort of fluctuated this opinion myself, thought maybe he should go to the Championship. he seems like a really good profile of player to go to the Championship and just score a bunch of goals, rather than get the odd token minutes and struggle in the Premier League. So that's why it's tough for me to think, is he the solution? Delap is going to have a scan on his hamstring problem in the next day or two. The prospect of having Jackson and Guiu back in the squad will certainly provide more than enough cover during his absence. More on Jackson in a moment. So just to finish on Mark Guiu, yeah, I do feel kind of bad for him. Maybe he gets a loan in January. There is fears that the Liam Delap hamstring injury is worse than initially assumed. Chelsea got special permission from the Premier League to send him immediately to hospital from Stamford Bridge. I guess you need that. You can't just leave the stadium. They obviously contacted the Premier League like, right, we want to have a look at this and get the ball rolling as quickly as possible, because the transfer window is open and every hour matters. So the Premier League obliged. They were like, yeah, off you go, mate. I'm just going to quickly try and I'm on autofocus, and I don't like autofocus. I feel like I never actually truly get the focus. I'll sort it out for the next video. Also, by the way, I've changed the camera back a little bit. I don't know if you can see more shirts, and I should be more in the frame here. I feel like it's better if you see more of your body. Like, back in the day when I used to stand and do presenting and had a little lapel mic, it felt a little bit more, I don't know, felt kind of better, I think, maybe, in terms of, being more expressive. Look, so Guiu coming back to Chelsea, his loan has been cancelled from Sunderland. Do I think he's the solution to the absent Liam Delap? Well, actually, mate, as much as I highly rate Liam Delap, so far he's just sort of been bundling into people, and that's unfair. No, that's unfair. He did do good hold-up play in the West Ham, intelligent Premier League level striker hold-up play in the West Ham goals. But, like, the beginning of Fulham, before he got injured, sadly, he was sort of hammering into people, and if that's what we need him to... Mark Guiu can do that, can't he? Yeah. Right, so the striker situation is massive. Look, The Athletic published an article this morning talking about, who to look out for on deadline day, and they do reckon Nico. Look, it's been referenced there by Simon Johnson that Jackson coming back with Guiu will be cover. So we've gone from, like, 2 strikers in Delap and Joao Pedro, and again, Joao Pedro is a sort of not a conventional striker, to 4 again, with 1 being injured. I don't know about that. Let's get into it. I'm just going to sip my coffee because I've not slept. Oh, sweet, alive black nectar going down. Yes, so what is going to happen with Jackson? Well, firstly, him and his agent have been told now to return to London by Chelsea, and indeed by Bayern Munich, who was sort of, you had, Herbal, what's his name? Herbal... Abel? Max? What's his name? The big dog at Bayern Music? Jesus, my brain, bro. My brain. Max Herbel. I did all right there. So yeah, he is he's the big dog. He's Bayern Munich's director of sport. My word, that took a while to get out of my mouth. Yes, so he was pretty much saying, like, well, we're trying to get the deal done. We don't know what's going on. And to now they're like, yeah, off you go. It's done. It's not happening, go back to London. I've spoken about at length how disappointing this must feel for Nico Jackson. His agent must be frustrated with us as well, who I believe is also the agent of Xavi Simons. So he must feel like Chelsea's just mucked him about big time through this transfer window. So he won't be happy with that, you'd have to say. So Jackson's coming back, but is he coming back to just play for Chelsea? A lot of Chelsea fans I've seen on social media, and I totally understand this perspective as well, and kind of agree in many ways, is that just keep Jackson. We're trying to be big boy serious team this season. If Jackson's going to go, he's got 7 years left on his deal still, something like that. Just sell him next summer. Keep him. Everyone, he's a good striker. Will be a good striker next summer. We'll get good money for him. He knows how to play Maresca's system. He's a good Premier League operator. Why hamstring ourselves? And, just keep him. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think in his head, and I understand this, by the way, that he's like, well, I've trained really hard. I'm always available for Chelsea. I've done pretty well, considering lots of clubs want me, including Bayern Munich. I deserve to go and be a starting striker somewhere. So... I sort of understand that perspective as well. The Athletic also reported on a more sort of generic transfers deadline day article. Nicholas Jackson could have been moving to Bayern Munich, but Delap's injury led to the proposed move becoming permanent. That's if he does go, it's permanent. And basically, they've begun looking at options, and they've recalled Jackson. So Bayern Munich have now looking at options. They're looking at the likes of Ademola Lookman from Atalanta. So Chelsea have also agreed a loan deal with Buonanotte, of course, from Brighton. We've seen that. It's very peculiar. I guess this is the fear of like, have we gone from Fermin Lopez to Buonanotte? But no, it says there has also been a bid for Fermin Lopez, and of course it references how this talks with Mark Guiu returning. So Jackson is a huge. We'll end on Fermin Lopez in just a moment. 1 second. But Jackson is a huge story because why have we recalled Mark Guiu? Why? Why were we happy to go into the season with two? I don't want to denigrate Joao Pedro by saying he's a false nine and he's not even a proper striker, because we can play amazing with him there. So I don't want to call them like two. I'm going to say two high quality options to start in that position in Delap and Joao Pedro. Why have we gone into the season very happy with that? To, if we've recalled Jackson, why are we not happy with that? Because he has to be seen as a high quality option. Like, definitely, he's similar in profile in Delap. A lot of Chelsea fans would actually like to see Jackson start instead of Delap with Joao Pedro in that same role. See if he'd make, see how he'd cook. Because Jackson can, do flicks and tricks, and Joao Pedro might be the kind of player that makes him better as well. Like, we haven't seen it. So why have we gone from being comfortable with two good options in Delap and Joao Pedro to, say Delap's gone for the moment with his injury, to bringing in Jackson and going, oh, that's not enough, I need to bring in Mark Guiu. It smells peculiar, and Mark Guiu has been recalled. All people are saying this now. He's come back. So, to me, that is Mark Guiu. This is speculating here. This is what I would have thought, that Mark Guiu is just the injury bridge for Delap to return. If he's out for a few weeks, you just give Guiu a proper crack at it. You don't have four strikers again. So it's asking the question, what's going to happen? Now, of course, conspiracy theorists assemble. Isak has just gone to Liverpool for a lot of money. £130 million. That is a record fee. Now, I know they signed Nick Woltemade, but they signed him for 80 million euros. And 80 million euros in pounds is 69 million pounds. So it's just, it's a little over half of what they're receiving. So are they going to try and sign Jackson as well? I don't know. Or is he going to go to Aston Villa? Aston Villa are in big troubles. They got slapped by Crystal Palace last night. Is someone going to press the panic button on deadline day? Because there are people out there that can do it. Nick Woltemade is very exciting, but he's never played in the Premier League. He's young. He's not that young. He's 23. He's a year younger than Jackson. But is someone about to press this panic button? Is there a dying embers reason for Jackson to go back to Germany, but the fact how the Athletic are saying they're looking at Lookman and other players now? To me, let me know what you think, but to me the whole why Guiu and Jackson, that makes no sense. Guiu and Jackson is way overkill for Delap being out for a few weeks. Don't you agree? That's crazy to me. Now look, the story of Fermin Lopez won't go away. So a lot of you guys, when I first reacted to this story, were like, well, this is nonsense, we're not going to sign him. It's just circulating for one reason or another after Chelsea pulled out of Xavi Simon's deal. But the story won't go away. The Athletic says we've put in a bid for him. We've put in a bid for Fermin Lopez, and this is since Buonanotte. It's not, we couldn't get Fermin Lopez, so let's loan Buonanotte from Brighton. No. They're seemingly different. And Buonanotte being a Brighton player, we know Paul Winstanley at Chelsea, the whole data model at Chelsea. If we just get a chance to buy a Brighton player, we do it. It just doesn't matter about the plan because they see them as really high value, future assets. Because I know, yes, it's just a loan, but there's also, we've got the matching rights. They see it, they wanted to buy him, they could only get a loan, but with the matching rights, they see it as an opportunity to try and buy Buonanotte. And what happens next, I don't know. You send him to Strasbourg, or I don't know what's happening with Enciso. I look forward to the Chelsea roundup, the long read from The Athletic, taking you through this journey of like Enciso, of Buonanotte, the highs and lows, the exciting, the underwhelming, all of it. So we will get into all of that as well. But yeah, so Fermin Lopez, it's been spoken about that we came in with a £35 million package. Or 30, whatever, 30, yeah, around 35, 40 million euros. It's then been reported from Spanish media, the likes of like Marca, that it would take 70 million euros to convince Barcelona to sell him. 70 million euros is 60 million quid, similar to Xavi Simons, but and Xavi Simons went for less than 60, I think, in the end. But we pulled out. Now, if we are to believe the reports, and they are seemingly coming true in terms of really reputable publications following up on this, Maresca really likes Femin. Again, he probably follows Spanish football closely. He played in Spain for a long time. He speaks fluent Spanish. And if we are to believe he's had multiple phone calls with Fermin Lopez, then he's obviously spoken to him in Spanish, trying to convince him to come to Chelsea. And none of these stories are being like denied by Barcelona, saying, no, he's not going anywhere. The story is that they've said, well, if you want to buy him, it would take this much, and we'd only sell him if he'd want to go. And he hasn't said if he wants to go or not yet. Is he keeping his options open? Because Fermin Lopez isn't starting for Barcelona. Will he start for Chelsea, though? That's the question. How much is his wages at Barca? Barca pay huge wages for a lot of players, of course, the likes of Frankie de Jong in midfield. But they've been in financial trouble for a long time. A young player like Femin, has he come through and got a big Barca salary? I mean, I haven't checked, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's not the case, if he hasn't got huge money, rather. So maybe Chelsea say, come to us, we'll give you a basic of 120k a week. You get the Champions League bonus, you'll get a goal bonus. We're really good, we've just won the Club World Cup. With loads of young players, come play with Cole Palmer and Estevao. It's fun, it's fun. And also, at Chelsea, it's not, even though Cole Palmer's the guy, it's everyone's kind of the guy at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Joao Pedro and Estevao and Palmer. It's not like the Lamine Yamal show and Friends. Maybe he could be convinced to come to Chelsea for a multitude of reasons. I'm just reacting to what's being said. In terms of a fee, 70 million, obviously you can imagine a meeting in the middle, a 60 million, probably, guessing here that the money might be the same of what actually Tottenham ended up paying for Xavi Simons, but a player that Enzo Maresca prefers and wants in his Chelsea team. Right, I didn't do any screen shares or stuff today, guys, because it's just so much news and excerpts, but I told you, I cited where I'm getting stuff from. Keep it locked, because I will be following the story throughout deadline day. Turn the bell on when you subscribe. It's going to be wild. I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.